How did it all begin? It occurred to me after I grew up here in Las Cruces, but I had moved away to Houston to teach, and I moved back, and I thought, you know, what is missing in Las Cruces? A book festival. Let's start a book festival. And then I got a call from Bobby Provencio from the Holy Cross Retreat House where the Renaissance Festival started. She says, let's have some book booths. Let's have a reading. So for 4 years, we were out there at the Holy Cross Retreat House reading with local authors, selling books, having a wonderful fiesta. And then I wrote a grant for $4,000 from New Mexico Arts. I got the grant to start a book festival. I called all the writers together, and people gathered, but only 2 people kind of stuck around. And one was myself, the other one was Susan Twite, who is coming back after 20 years. This is our 20th anniversary. She said, Denise, let's do this book festival. She says, I'll be the executive director and you be the artistic director. I said, yes. And so we started the book festival out of our home. It's been a learning process. It's been a process of 20 years. I think of the Samuel Beckett comment, fail, fail again, fail better. The first year we failed miserably because we didn't number our tickets and we oversold tickets. Sandra Cisneros, the great Chicana writer, was here. Tickets weren't numbered. No, we had too many people. But we failed well because we were packed. We had to turn away people. And so the next year we numbered the tickets. And since then, it's been that process of try, try again, fail, fail again, fail better. And throughout the years, our mandate has been literacy, literature, storytelling, and the arts. And our recipe for success has always been to bring music, food. Food is very important. We're known as the gourmands of the literary world. Food, music, literature, art, literacy. The mission of the Border Book Festival is to heal the barriers between people, real and imagined. We're based now on here in the Mesquite Historical District on the Casa Camino Real. A lot of people don't know this neighborhood. They don't know that it was the original town site. And for people that live in other parts of town, you don't know La Vecindad. You don't know that this was the heart of Las Cruces, that this is where the Hispano and African American families, this house that we're in here right now has been inhabited by Hispanos, Anglos, and African Americans. The 5th African American family to move to Las Cruces, the Grimes family, Alonzo and Lula Grimes, lived here. So we are a mestizaje, a mixture, a culture of people and voices and cultures. What our mission is to help people realize that we're all one people. Somos una familia. And literature and art and food can bring people together. 1 cup of coffee, 1 book at a time will remind us that are working our way toward mental health, toward healing, to bringing in and folding in the story of the world. So our mission has always been outreach, empowerment, healing. We want to honor the basis of life in maíz. Maíz is to be found in every continent except Antarctica. So she is our mother. And let us go back to our roots. Who are we? Where do we come from? Where do we belong? We belong to the earth and we belong to each other. You know, this is divinely inspired. It has to be. This year, a friend brought her sister-in-law in who works, this woman works in Mexico as a corn specialist, developing corn. I said, corn? The light bulb went off. Corn? This was about 1.5 years ago. I thought, corn, that is our festival, corn. Because coming full circle, 20 years, what is the cycle of life? Corn is one of the oldest plants. It comes from Teotzintle, that plant that was developed in La Cuna del Maíz. How did corn come? We don't even know the history or age of corn. This is papel picado with the Border Book Festival logo. And let's take off one edge because you can actually see the theme of the flying books through the mesas. That is our logo. How many people can say that they have their own papel picado? Well, we do. And we've had it for some years. The most rewarding aspect of what I do is when people smile. That woman that came into our book fair and I gave her some bookmarks and she says, oh, finally, now my husband could get rid of that Q-tip. The woman that came up when we gave away hundreds of thousands of dollars of shampoo last summer in a book, in a shampoo giveaway. Thank you, Regis Hair Salons. Thank you for giving us so much spritzer gel, mousse, shampoo. And there was a woman that came down here to our Casa Camino Real with in a walker, and she won this huge Paul Mitchell basket worth maybe about $400. Shampoos, gels, spritzers, whatever. The enjoyment thrown in with a bunch of books. The young person that comes up and says, Miss Chavez, do you have any books for $1? And yes, I do. And not only do I have books for $1, but I have free books. Come on over. You want a bilingual children's book? Ándale, pásale. We've got those books. Or somebody, a Chicano literature teacher that came to our bookstore and went to the Chicano bookshelf and said, oh my God, I have been looking for this book for years. A young jazz musician, during our Ukrainian meal, we gave them gift certificates, and he came over here. He said, we sell vintage vinyl as well. ¿Qué más? Art, folk art. He says, I have been looking for this record for years. So I think it's a sense of fulfillment in knowing that we've made a person happy, that we've given them a little touch of love. 1 cup of coffee, we always have that coffee ready, and we're going to sit down and have our little cafecito, and then we're going to feel better. And you know that 1 book, 1 cup of coffee, 1 interaction makes you feel better. That's what makes me feel better. Books are stories. They're stories about people's life. Anybody can write a book if you feel that you have a story, but you have to believe that your story matters. You could have a 6th grade education and still have a great story. You could be, I remember I was at the book festival in Silver City, which they had last year. They had a workshop for children, and one of the storytellers and writers was 3 years old. She didn't write, but she had her little book and she did her pictures, and then she came up and read her book, and she flipped the pages, and there was no writing in it, but she would read her story. Apple pie. And then she'd flip the page. Apple pie. So it was about apple pie. Apple pie. And then afterwards, it was so delightful. Whoever thought of that, it was brilliant. We gave certificates. So this little 3-year-old, descalza, barefooted, that had written a story about apple pie, got a certificate that was a writer from me, a writer to writer certificate. Now that's a success story. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.